Hello again, friends. Chrissy here at A Little Glam, A Lot of Mom. Happy New Year. My break was longer than expected, mostly due to technical difficulties, but now I've missed you and I'm happy and inspired to be back. In today's video, I'm sharing 10 habits I practice that help prevent homeschool mom burnout. We all know what that is. We all experience it. So today, I'm not going to tell you to pray or read your Bible or meditate, exercise daily, get dressed for the day, or to drink plenty of water. Although you should definitely be doing those things. I know I do. But today I am sharing 10 refreshing habits that have radically changed me, and hopefully you can apply one or two, maybe all, in your life. A tidy home, a clean environment. How is it possible that yet another chore can reduce the probability of mom burnout? It seems like the opposite. However, some research suggests that decluttering can have as much effect on your well-being as it does on your physical space. One study, women who described their homes with positive language had a lower level of the stress hormone cortisol than women who described their homes as cluttered or unfinished. And of course, a clean home benefits your health and your family's health. I found my balance in minimalism years ago, and I had to redefine what that looked like for my large family. Because of the size of our family, I need to declutter at least once a month. And together we assess what can leave our home, even if it's just a handful of items. It's not about having less, it's about having what actually matters. Clean every day to avoid the big messes or even the accumulated dirt and bacteria. Declutter often, and also always start with the kitchen. You'll be surprised that's where we hold the more items that we actually never use. Instead, fill your home with a lot of the beautiful and the meaningful. Make your home a peaceful and healthy environment. If you implement these household habits now, you're teaching and modeling the value of cleaning to your children. It's likely that they'll continue this healthy habit throughout their life. I learned about cleaning habits from my mom and my abuela at a young age, and it never left me. And remember that being a homemaker does not go unnoticed. It's more than cleaning floors and cooking and doing laundry. You are serving your home in worship to the Lord. Meal planning. Again, this may seem like an added task or chore, but we need to nourish our family. Cooking 3 meals a day, every day, can be so taxing. I know, I feel it. But I started meal planning again, and I don't know why I ever stopped. It takes the coming up with a meal step out or being short of an ingredient when you've finally created or thought up of a meal. It also keeps things fresh and dishes in rotation for your family. Don't let meal planning intimidate you as it did me. I learned that I don't have to meal plan for months worth. That just doesn't work for my large family. We need wiggle room for change, and we also enjoy fresh food, fresh veggies and fruits, which won't last an entire month in the pantry or the fridge. For years, I just utilized a regular spiral-bound notebook for meal planning, and that works just fine. But to find some motivation for meal planning again, I recently purchased this meal planner. It's from Amazon, and I'll link it below. I like that the format is in a weekly format because, again, that's just the meal planning that works best for us. I draw inspiration from Pinterest or from various cookbooks that we have lying around the house. You can also check out cookbooks from the library, but I don't like to overwhelm myself too much, so I won't include more than 1, maybe 2 new recipes a week. And if it's a recipe that my family enjoys, from then on, I move on to practicing that recipe and eventually mastering it, and then we have a new recipe for our meal rotations. Rest. You need rest. Don't cut yourself short on sleep. I know, all the baby books say it, all the parenting books say it. You hear the same advice in all the podcasts, but it's for a reason. Rest is necessary for both parents and children. It takes a lot of energy to keep up with kids, not just in the younger and baby toddler years, but also in the older elementary and adolescent years of raising kids to keep up with their sports and their walks and bike rides. And I go to the gym with my teenagers, we garden. And okay, even if you're not outdoorsy or a super active family, being well rested will also help with your patience, your mindset. When we're well rested, everyone is in a better mood. We need that to be at home all day with our kids. So I often get asked, how do you have the energy and creativity for all the crafts and the learning through play, all the handwork, all the extras? And my first response, without even thinking about it, is that we are always well rested. My entire household, all of my children, my teenagers, which are almost adults included, get an average of 10 hours of sleep a night. It's good for their development, of course, but it's also sustainable for an active, large homeschool family. So my tip is to get more rest. Have an evening routine that will set you up for a smooth and early transition into beds. Ours is family dinners, then cleaning up together after dinner. During the summer, it's a late sunset walk, baths, mood lighting. We love salt lamps and low dim lighting for the evening. It brings calm. So I know some of us moms also accomplish our tasks or maybe just hobbies or just some alone time when everyone is off to bed. And I get that, but schedule that for just once, maybe twice a week if you have to, no more. The rest of the nights during the week, get into bed early. It'll also be good for your marriage. For a while, we had a sleep-in day. For example, on Wednesdays, we'd sleep in an hour more than the rest of the week. Or pencil in a 20-minute power nap, especially with young babies or toddlers. Nap with them. I have older teenagers, so I can lay on the couch for 30 minutes during our quiet time, and they'll help with keeping an eye on the younger ones. And rest doesn't necessarily just mean actual sleep. It could also mean slowing down or taking breaks. Now, this is going to be dependent on your homeschooling schedule or maybe just stitching that and reinventing the wheel. Something I tell homeschool families often is you already chose freedom, so live like it. We homeschool year round so that we can take a break day as needed. And as a matter of fact, I found that by taking more frequent 1 day to 2 day breaks resulted in less week-long or several weeks breaks when I've reached total exhaustion. Some homeschool families do the Sabbath method where they do 6 weeks on and 1 week off, and that seems like a good alternative too. Treats or mom favorites. I have a handful of items that I look forward to every day and they make my soul happy. For example, my cold brew or playing a record during the day on my record player / entertainment center. A cup that keeps my water ice cold. It helps me look forward to another sip. So just a few of these non-essential items that are for our daily happiness. In small ways, filling our cup. I tell you, it's really about the little things. And that takes me into my next habit, which is something that I do not share. That sounds funny, but as a homeschool mom, we share more of our days, ourselves, our home than moms who don't home educate naturally. And I think this one is also a big deal for me personally because I'm also a mom to a large family, and large families tend to share a lot more. I'm also a young mom, and so that means that my teens and I are friends. We have common interests and hobbies. We work out together. My teen girl and I even share a similar size, so we even share and swap clothes. My point is, again, having a handful of things that are just mine. I have this tumbler that is mine. No one else serves themselves in it or takes it. My bathroom time. I just got out of the baby toddler season back to back 3 times. So showering with littles was just easier, or having to use the restroom with my door open was a necessity. Well, we're now past that season of life, and I've reclaimed the privacy of the restroom for myself. It's not selfish, it's boundaries, and we all need them. Read. Mama, I encourage you to read for yourself this year. As homeschool moms, we're reading all day, and the idea of squeezing in another 20 minutes of reading that's not for giving, that's not for the kids, that's not homeschool related, can seem far-fetched, but I encourage you to do it. Read something for you, something that you enjoy, that'll fill your soul, and start with small goals. I'm into long fiction novels lately, so my goal is 1 novel a month. That's all I can fit in as a homeschool mom of 5 and homemaker, and it's so wonderful and enriching to my days. Plus, we must model a love of reading to our littles, right? Or pick up a book of something that you want to teach yourself. So my husband and I made a goal together to learn a new language. So taking 10 minutes a day to use the Duolingo app to learn something for myself. Again, if we want to encourage our kids to be life learners, we have to be life learners ourselves. But also, it's super fun and it's challenging, and I never thought that in my mid-30s I'd be taking on a new language. I find that it's easiest for me to take small snippets throughout the day when the kids are engaged in independent play or they're outside in the backyard, to take 10 minutes here and take 10 minutes there, and 10 minutes before bed, or maybe 10 minutes as soon as I wake up. Those 10-minute spurts accumulate, and before you know it, you're reading 30 minutes a day, and it's a wonderful thing. Jump into these wonderful stories of history, or that take us to faraway places, to stories of love that inspire us. My next habit is that I have to constantly remind myself that it is okay to rely on external resources on the days I just can't pour. It happens. We all get exhausted. We all have days where we need to slow down. And on those days, things like Reading Eggs, Khan Academy, documentaries, OutSchool, while these apps aren't food for the soul, because they can't substitute a rich literature or living math or storytelling or using little hands in handcrafts, I've learned that a little bit of action is better than none. It's not always all or nothing, and so these external resources have a place and time. Logging, keeping a journal, an observation journal, opening an account to log your homeschool days, or even just taking photos and videos for yourself. I've talked a lot about my style of planning for homeschooling being more in reverse. I have goals for us, I jot them down, I prepare for them, and I align them with what my children also wish to learn and with the season of the year. I don't write out a complete schedule of what we're going to do. Rather, I log what we do and what we accomplish. So it's a journal in a way. And I started planning and logging this way because it fits our style and our beliefs of child-led learning. But then what I found, not only is this beneficial for child-led learning, for record keeping, but for me to look back on and reflect on. We all have our doubts that overcome us every once in a while, often contributed by or contributing to homeschool burnout. For those days, I look back on our logs, I look back on my Instagram feed, because that's a form of record keeping for me, and my videos too. And I'm reminded and reassured and comforted of all the beauty in our lives. We are living and learning and thriving, and I am doing enough. Rhythms. We often hear about daily rhythms, but not so much about yearly rhythms. And it's just as important. Creating a yearly rhythm and a visual of that for your family will anchor your life. Having a visual of the seasons, holidays, and special dates help us and our children find orientation in time. Creating a sense of rhythm throughout the year takes us from the ordinary to the extraordinary as we together anticipate a certain season, event, holiday, or festival. This doesn't mean that we have a calendar packed with all the international days of or this and that. We choose to celebrate the days that speak to us and that add joy and connection. Anchors, and we look ahead at the wonderful days to come. The same with a daily rhythm, anchors that hold your day together, even through the changing seasons, rooted in Christ, togetherness, learning, growing, meals together, and rest. I believe that holding onto our anchors like a life security blanket holds true now more than ever with the rapid changes of the world around us. Dr. Kim John Payne from Simplicity Parenting wrote, "Committing to rhythm builds trust and relational credits, a connection that is bankable." Finally, the last habit is to stay in nature. You had to see this coming. Let nature not be a place you visit, but a place that keeps you. It'll ground you, teach you lessons, and if you stay in it enough, it'll reward you with the greatest wonders in beauty, stories, and connections. Being able to smell fresh air and disconnect from the news and our phones, there's nothing like it, and we all need it.